Y'all, we have air conditioning! Can you see it? Can you see it moving my hair? I haven't pulled back, but can you see it? Top buddy today. How hot is it outside today, huh? Say the highs in 100s. We've had heat advisories basically all week. Temperature's been in the hundreds or feels like hundreds. The feels like has been like 5 to 10 degrees hotter than the actual temperature because of humidity. We're finally getting a drop. I just realized I'm giving you the weather report. So, back to business. I've got my pot here. I've come out and sprayed it a couple times just to make sure that it's staying moist, staying leather hard. What do you have? You don't need splinters. All right, time for Doug to go outside. All right, go on. So the plan today is to make the lid for this pot, and then it should be ready to start drying. I have a couple options here. My original plan was to, all right, so here's the pot. Just to make the lid go across like this with a flange inside here. And that's why when I put the dividers in, I made them shorter so that there would be room for that flange. Now I'm thinking I might do something like this with the flange on the outside. So it wouldn't matter that those little dividers are a little bit shorter inside. But I've also toyed with the idea of basically adding the lid onto the top, like just the slab onto the top, and then cutting it off. The problem with that is then there's not a flange. I could add one in, and I do like the aesthetic of that where these sides are flush. But if I add it on and cut it like that, that's going to take away the depth that I left for the flange. And so basically when I cut it off, it will be the height of those little dividers that are inside. So if I wanted to do that, I would actually need to make the lid separate, but try to get it to be the same size as the body of the pot. I also like the way that this looks, and I've got that decoration around the bottom, and so I could play with that decoration around the lid. So yeah. So some other pros and cons. This is going to be the easiest because clay shrinks as it dries, and as the lid shrinks, if it shrinks more than the main body, because the body's already leather hard, it will still fit. So that's a pro. It's gonna fit pretty much no matter what. Con is that that flange could be really loose if it shrinks a lot more than the main body. Pros of this one, I like the way it works. Cons, the lid could shrink till it fits too tightly and can't be removed. This one is basically like not really possible at this point. Like if I add a lid now, I'm gonna have to let the clay stabilize before I cut off the bottom. And I'm not really feeling this one anyway, because then I can't have a flange. This one is possible, but I think it's the most risky because if the lid shrinks more than the body, then the sides won't line up perfectly and it will look stupid and annoy me for its entire existence. So one of these two options is gonna be my best, but I may just get into it and see what I come up with, see what happens. This slab has stiffened up pretty well, so that's good because that means it's closer in dryness to my pot here, which means I can probably do my method with the outside flange, which is exciting. right, so profile 1. We attach this here and have this flush. Profile 2, all right, we got a little bit of an overhang. This is attached here. And profile 3, we just clean up this edge and attach a flange inside. I'm still liking profile 1 the best. Okay, even though it's gonna be the most difficult, I think we're gonna go with option 1, where the outside edge of the lid is flush with the body of the pot. I'm gonna do some like decoration around the top to mimic the decoration that's around the foot to kind of bring the whole design together, and I'm gonna add a flange on the inside so that the lid still won't slide around. It's gonna be the trickiest, it's gonna take me the longest to do, but after I make it, I'm going to bag the pot and really slow dry it to get it to shrink, hopefully at a more similar rate to the rest of the pot, so that way I don't have issues with the lid sticking or not fitting properly. And it's time just to go for it. Because the lid isn't perfectly round, we're gonna put a little indicator line, and that, we're gonna line a couple of those. That way, as we're building the lid, I can put it back on, take it off as needed, and get a really good snug fit. Entire length. I just need to cut off some of the excess and really join these together. Ideally, I would have rolled this out of one long slab, but this is all the clay. That's all of this black clay that I have left. So rolling out one big slab just isn't an option for me unless I reclaim all the clay first. And that's gonna take too long. taking a little break from working on the lip. I'm gonna let it kind of set up, dry a little bit, and I'm gonna work on smoothing out the surface of the body. Okay, I think it's time to attach the top to the lid. So one thing that's potentially a problem here is that my lid, like the top here, is very stiff. While this flange, this piece that I'm planning to attach, is still very flexible. I think I'm gonna have to take a break. I think I'm gonna have to step away for maybe even a few hours to let this dry a little bit more and let this hopefully stay the same wetness. I'm gonna bag it together. And it's just too risky to attach it right now. It's gonna be risky later as well, but hopefully if I let them sort of equalize in moisture content, it will be less risky. So I'm gonna go on lunch break. See y'all in a bit. I'm just putting this little wad of clay in there to support the lid so that it doesn't sag inward while I have it here. Because even though the clay's pretty stiff, I'm spraying it to help it balance out with this, and that could cause it to sag and possibly cave in. And I definitely don't want that. To lunch. Okay. Back from lunch. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's a lot better. This is still pretty flexible, but that's kind of to be expected because of how thin it is. The topper is a little bit more hydrated now. So we're gonna go ahead and attach it. Let it dry a bit, and then I'm gonna, there's like dots down here at the bottom. I'm gonna let this stiffen up a bit because it's real wet since I used a lot of slip, and then I'm gonna put a dot pattern on here. But I started to do it and it was deforming the lip, so I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, but I'm gonna wrap up the body and let the lid dry. And while I let that set up, I'm gonna start working on the handle. I've been thinking a lot about what I want the handle to look like, and it's a container for dog treats. So I want to do something that's like dog themed, but like a bone, like a treat shape on top just seems too generic to like expected, or like I could just buy that. So gotta think about what kind of shape I want up here, and also what's going to fill this space appropriately. I think I may need to bring my dot pattern into the lid a bit so that the handle on top doesn't feel so tiny. Because I don't want it to be so big that it's obnoxious, but I don't want it to be so small that the lid feels like it's going to fall off. Yeah, so those are some design problems. Hey!
Oh, man.
That air conditioning's nice, huh?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Alright. Let me show you. So, I made this.
For some reason, when you said handles, all I thought of was mug handles. I know full well that you're making this jar, but goodness. Okay.
Alright, so there's this kind of handle, and it would have like a little
dimple in the middle.
Yeah. But the size, it kind of feels like too small for this big of a lid. Alright, so
Okay.
I didn't want to do like a bone because that felt kitsch. But
you have a bone.
I have a bone. And look. Doesn't that just come together?
Yes. So you're wanting me to help you choose because you don't want to be the one to choose the bone because it's kitsch.
At first I couldn't make up my mind, but then like the more I thought about it.
The bone is the obvious choice.
Oh, good, right? And like the ones that I've seen, it's like a little bone on like a bead or something.
Yeah.
It's still stupid. So this is nice.
Yes, that is nice.
And I feel like it goes with the.
It's appropriately sized. Yes.
It's important.
I like it. I approve. This is Robert approved.
And then I did some like stamps with my little letter stamps, but they're not right.
Oh, okay.
The letters, they're too flowery.
Yeah.
So.
Don't you have other stamps, or are those them?
Those are them.
Those are them.
Those
Okay.
are those.
Okay.
And I have another set, but they're smaller.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're not assembled.
What you could do, if you really wanted a label, if you wanted something, you could do a badge, like a circle badge or something, and then cut out the letters and put them on there.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I don't want it that bad.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Because we know what's in the jar,
yes.
but our guests might not.
Well, but hopefully they'll be like, oh, that's kind of a bone shape, how cute. And
Yeah.
then they'd open it and be like, oh, treats. Because that's the face you make when you smell them.
Ah, yes.
But yay.
Yeah, it looks good. So the lid, how's the lid on? What did you decide to go with?
So I still need to put a flange in.
Okay.
And
So you're doing a Oh, you did the cutoff thing.
I didn't cut it off, but yes.
Oh, okay. You just built it on top of.
Yeah.
Rock on top of.
That way there's still a lip in here for the flange.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna do that and then put a flange on the inside, and it'll be
Yes.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it'll all be fitty.
Well,
Don't burp in my show.
cut it out.
Yeah, so I'll put the flange in there. I gotta attach the handle, and then I'll be done. Then it's ready to dry.
Cool. I like it.
Yay! And see the bottom? See? So I did this motif up here and down here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I like it. It reminds me of an Oreo up top.
So I was thinking about doing these little dots up here.
Uh-huh. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be room.
Yeah.
So. Alrighty.
Here you go.
Thanks for coming and confirming.
Yeah.
Okay, down to the last step, just one more thing. I need to put a flange inside the lid so that it won't slide off. So I'm going to carefully remove the lid, but before I do that, my markings for knowing which direction to put this on are gone, so I'm gonna add some new ones, and then I'll take it off. thought this through, I would have put the handle on last, but since I didn't think about that, I got excited and attached the handle. It's there now, so I can't just turn the lid over to put the flange on. So what I'm gonna do is make a cradle to hold the lid while I work on it and hopefully not smash the handle. The worst part about this is now I don't have my towel. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. This joint, I don't wanna put fresh onto the other pot because I don't want it to stick in the drying process. So I'm gonna wrap these two things up separately and then come back when it's had some time for that slip to dry, and then I'll fit them together when they're both a little bit drier, make sure everything fits really snug, and I'll do any sort of final cleanup, and then it'll be ready to start drying. I'm gonna do a slow dry process so everything evens out before it goes completely dry, and I can catch any problems before I fire it. All right, see you next time.